What's up, all of you lovable people out there? So with that out of the way, let's talk about Shield Hero Season 2, Episode 8. And boy, oh boy, that final segment, that really gave a lot of ominous tone and vibes to just leave us sitting on, because Naofumi is officially separated from Raphtalia. Now, let's just dive into what we know so far. So, last week, when Episode 7 came out, many manga readers and light novel readers were just outright shocked, because apparently, me as an anime only, I was told by manga readers and light novel readers that Raphtalia wasn't supposed to be there in the first place. For instance, Raphtalia was supposed to be somewhere off in the distance with, Lark and all them and, and Glass. So because of that, Raphtalia wasn't actually supposed to be a part of Naofumi's group for this entire session, for episode 8, for this episode, but also in the last episode. And so, when we come to this episode and you see Naofumi separated from Raphtalia, it makes you start to wonder what's about to happen to Raphtalia, because obviously, from my assumption, we're in uncharted territory. And if that is indeed the case, that means that Raphtalia could potentially die, which is a scary thought. I mean, once again, there is definitely some liberties and some anime original things that's being done with the series. Now, as I talked about at the end of my last review for Shield Hero, I said that Philo was apparently supposed to be a part of the party, but she's missing. So I'm assuming that Philo's spot, her entire role in this arc, was swapped with Raphtalia. Maybe Philo is with Lark and all of them, and that is why, we don't see Philo at all. So that's my general impression. So I feel like what's happening with Raphtalia is probably what was potentially supposed to happen with Philo. That's my assumption, just my headcanon, my theory right now. I could be entirely wrong. But regardless, Raphtalia, she's alone with Kyo, and that is definitely not something good. Because let's be honest, we know Kyo is quite the sinister man. I mean, the man was literally willing to destroy an entire world just for his own gain, his own power, to be able to get the spirit tortoise's power. I mean, we saw it ourselves in the previous arc. So because of that, we know how dangerous Kyo is. And since he has a grudge against Naofumi and his group, he's definitely going to probably torment Raphtalia, which I feel bad, because, Raphtalia is not in a state to really defend herself. I mean, she legitimately is pretty much level 1, she is tiny again, and because of that, even if she could put up a fight in the past, she can't now. She 100% cannot even try to flee if she wanted, because of just how low her strength actually is. I do wonder if there's going to be anyone that's going to be able to come in and save her. Maybe, Lark in the group might come in and save her, but we'll have to see. But anyways, let's talk about some other things that this episode did, besides that ominous dark tone that the episode left us on to kind of boil over for the next week. We have Naofumi returning to his very roots, being a merchant, a traveling merchant, and man, I love this episode. Legit, I am a huge fan of Naofumi when he is a merchant. I talked about this in my Season 1 reviews, and go back to years ago when I did my, Season 1 reviews, I talked about I love the moments when Naofumi's a merchant, because you get to see a lot of world building, you get to see kind of how the ecosystem, the economy is within the world that Naofumi is in, and you get to just see Naofumi demonstrate a lot of level of smarts and skill to be able to gain money and survive in the world. Because honestly, some things that a lot of these stories don't really take for consideration is that there is a lot of expenses, there's money, and obviously Shield Hero shows that. It shows that just to be able to live, to be able to stay somewhere, to be able to travel, they need a lot of money. And so because of that, Naofumi has to resort to being a traveling merchant. And I just find that entire segment great for this episode when he is selling this rare SP potion, which is obviously a reference to snake oil. So let's talk about that. So I think everybody knows what snake oil is. Basically, the common thing a merchant will try to sell you that's worthless, and they say it's an immortality potion, pretty much. Hey, I'll sell you this immortality potion, and, you give me, 5 gold, and you'll have it for yourself. It's incredibly rare, but in reality, it's just a potion filled with random, I guess, water and minerals or whatever. It's not really a, immortality potion. That's a type of thing that you see in many different stories, and definitely that type of stuff with a merchant, for instance, like snake oil. So when you look at Naofumi's presentation in this episode, he looks like a snake oil merchant. He looks like a guy that is about to sell you something very false, something that is not legit, but he's trying to make a quick buck. But in reality, he does actually sell it, and it does work, and I like that little twist of a cliche. It's really nice. I like that a general impression that Naofumi isn't trying to rip anyone off. He's just doing businessman tactics, and he is actually selling a decent product. It's great. It's a great moment of the episode. So enough with that. I know I'm fanboying on that. I know not many people are going to care about the merchant stuff, but it's one of my favorite moments of the episode. So we also have stuff with like snow and atmosphere building of this world, to describing the world and how it's more Japanese orientated than European orientated. I do like that, because one of the big things from, Naofumi's original world that he came from was that it's more European looking, and it is stated by Kizuna, I believe that's her name. She states that yes, there is European like towns and stuff around, but there is a lot of Japanese towns and culture throughout this world, and we get to see that. And I do like how there's different like demi-humans, like spirits, etc. It gives more lore and world building to Glass, Lark, and all of them, like where their origin point was, etc., why they acted like they did in Naofumi's world. We also get to see little hints at how they leveled up so quickly, because apparently certain items, if you give it to another individual, like a hero, they could turn the item into EXP, just raw EXP. So it does make me wonder if Lark and them had a potential helper from their world. For instance, like maybe one of Naofumi's, other heroes, a part of his world, might have accidentally helped them out or gave them items or something. I do wonder about that. But, anyways, the point is that we get a lot of lore, a lot of world building, and I like the tone of the snow as well. When the snow comes in, it puts this very ominous fog over the episode that, yes, it's peaceful, it's tranquil, but then there's something dark and sinister lurking behind the snowstorm. It's a nice vibed episode. Like, I feel like the very tone, the music, everything about this episode, it's properly paced and placed throughout the episode, and I couldn't honestly ask for more. It's a great episode. 100% a great episode of Shield Hero. I'm so happy to say those words. Legitimately, I am so happy to be able to just sit down and praise Shield Hero again, because, man, those beginning episodes were rough. They were rough. Like, you know my thoughts if you watch my videos. They were such rough episodes, but I'm just so happy to see that the story is picking up, and, it's not, from my assumption, being rushed. It doesn't feel like there's any real dialogue or anything skipped or cut. I do appreciate so far what we've gotten, and the music sounds better too, like in terms of the way it's placed throughout the episode. Voice acting is great, etc. It's just what's really not to love with Shield Hero at the moment. But anyways, before I go any further, I do want to talk about Kyo's helper. So we get to see an individual that apparently is helping Kyo, and this individual apparently constructs a warp gate with, like, the hourglass. And this is very fascinating for a few reasons. For one, Naofumi's hourglass, it can't warp people. It can't teleport people to other zones, at least from what we're aware of, but this world can. So it does let us know that it's not, let's just say, culture, or let's say different races, like demi-humans within the different worlds. It's also, just straight up, sometimes the actual hourglass, or maybe the waves, are incredibly different. There might be worlds even without waves. So I do wonder if we're going to get to see more of that as we journey through the story of Shield Hero, or if this might be the only world we visit. I think that there's just so much here. It's so much that the story can really dive into. It'd be such a waste not to really dive into more elements of that, of what's truly different from Naofumi's world to another world, and could he bring any of that stuff back, or that knowledge back to him, to another world? That is a question I have. But overall, like I said, good episode. Happy to watch it. Can't wait for episode 9. Tell me your honest thoughts in the comments below, how you felt about episode 9 of Shield Hero. Did you enjoy it? Did you hate it? Etc. Be honest in the comments below. I'm incredibly curious. And with that, guys, be safe. Stay healthy. I love you all. And leave a like if you enjoyed the video. And subscribe. Hit that bell icon down below. With that, Chibi out.